Have you ever felt like life's chaos is pulling you in every direction? Stress, anger, or unexpected challenges threatening to knock you off balance? What if you could stay calm and in control no matter what comes your way? Welcome to ZENLIGHT 8, where we dive into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to help you master your mind and find unshakable peace. In this video, we'll uncover practical, life-changing strategies you can use right now to transform how you handle everyday struggles. Stick around until the end to discover how these powerful lessons can empower you to thrive in today's fast-paced world. Hit that play button and let's get started. Life is a wild ride, isn't it? 1 minute you're cruising along, everything falling into place like a perfectly timed playlist. The next, you're hit with a curveball, a missed deadline, a heated argument, or a sudden setback that sends your heart racing and your mind spiraling. It's in these moments, when the world feels like it's spinning out of control, that we face a profound question. Can we stay calm, truly calm, no matter what life throws at us? The answer, rooted in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, is a resounding yes. Calmness isn't a gift reserved for monks or philosophers. It's a skill, a muscle you can strengthen with practice. And it all begins with mastering your mind, the one thing you can control in a world full of chaos. As Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound truth is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and the key to living a life of resilience and inner peace. Let's dive into what it means to control your mind, why it matters, and how you can apply this wisdom to thrive in today's fast-paced, unpredictable world. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a bustling city, say New York City during rush hour. Horns are blaring, people are jostling past you, and your phone just pinged with an urgent work email. Your heart rate spikes, and a wave of stress washes over you. In that moment, your mind becomes a battleground. Thoughts race. Why is this happening to me? I can't handle this. It's tempting to let those thoughts take the wheel, to react impulsively. Maybe snap at a stranger or fire off a hasty reply to that email. But Stoicism offers a different path. It teaches us that the chaos around us, the traffic, the email, the crowd, doesn't control how we feel or act. Only our mind does. The power lies in how we interpret and respond to these events. If you see the email as a crisis, you'll feel overwhelmed. If you view it as just another task to tackle, you can stay grounded. This shift in perspective is the essence of mental mastery. It's not about ignoring reality, but about choosing how you engage with it. Let's bring this closer to home with a real-life scenario. Picture yourself at a family barbecue, the kind where the sun is shining, the burgers are sizzling, and everyone's laughing, until your cousin makes a snarky comment about your new job. "Oh, you're still doing that? I thought you'd have moved on to something bigger by now." Your cheeks flush and a surge of anger bubbles up. Your first instinct might be to fire back, to defend your choices or point out their flaws. But pause for a second. Is that really you talking? Or is it your mind reacting on autopilot? Stoicism invites us to step back and observe our thoughts like a scientist studying a specimen. That anger, that sting of embarrassment, it's real, but it doesn't have to dictate your next move. Instead of lashing out, you take a deep breath, sip your lemonade, and smile. "Thanks for the input," you say calmly, then steer the conversation elsewhere. In that moment, you've done something powerful. You've chosen not to let someone else's words hijack your peace. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant by having power over your mind. You can't control your cousin's opinion, but you can control whether it ruins your day. This idea of mental control isn't just a philosophical concept. It's backed by modern psychology. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, a widely used approach in mental health, echoes Stoic principles. CBT teaches that our emotions stem from our thoughts, not external events. If you think, "My cousin's comment means I'm a failure," you'll feel crushed. But if you reframe it as, "That's just their opinion, and it doesn't define me," you stay steady. Studies show that practicing this kind of cognitive reframing can reduce stress and improve emotional resilience. In a 2021 study from the American Psychological Association, Participants who used CBT techniques reported a 30% decrease in anxiety symptoms after just 8 weeks. Stoicism, it turns out, was onto something 2,000 years ago. A practical tool for navigating the pressures of modern life. But let's be real. Mastering your mind isn't easy. It's not like flipping a switch. Your brain is wired to react quickly, especially to perceived threats like criticism or failure. That's why Stoicism emphasizes daily practice, starting with the small stuff. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic on the I-95, watching the minutes tick by as you inched forward. Maybe you gripped the steering wheel, muttering about the idiot drivers ahead. That's your mind trying to control the uncontrollable. A Stoic approach would be to catch yourself in that moment. Take a deep breath, count to 10 if you need to, and remind yourself, I can't change the traffic, but I can change how I feel about it. Pop on a podcast, hum a tune, or use the time to reflect on something positive, like your plans for the weekend. Suddenly, that gridlock isn't a crisis. It's just a moment in time. These small wins build the mental muscle you need for bigger challenges, like handling a tough boss or navigating a personal setback. To make this even more concrete, let's look at a modern example. Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast who's faced intense pressure on the world stage. In 2021, during the Tokyo Olympics, Biles made headlines when she withdrew from several events to prioritize her mental health. The media and public were quick to judge, some calling her decision weak. But Biles was practicing a form of Stoic wisdom. She recognized that she couldn't control the expectations of millions or the physical toll of her sport, but she could control her response. By stepping back, she protected her well-being and returned stronger, winning a bronze medal on the balance beam. Biles' choice wasn't about giving up. It was about mastering her mind, choosing what she could control, her health and her values, over external pressures. Her story is a reminder that mental strength isn't about pushing through at all costs. It's about knowing when to pause, reflect, and act with intention. So, how can you apply this in your own life right now in 2025? Start with a simple practice, the Stoic pause. When something triggers you, a rude coworker, a disappointing grade, or even a spilled coffee on your new shirt, stop for 5 seconds. Breathe deeply and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. Then, choose a response that aligns with your values, not your impulses. Maybe that means addressing the coworker calmly, studying harder for the next test, or laughing off the coffee stain. Another powerful tool is journaling, a habit Marcus Aurelius himself used. Each night, take 5 minutes to write down a moment when you felt your mind slipping. Maybe you snapped at your spouse or stressed about a work project. Reflect on what triggered you and how you could respond differently next time. Over weeks, you'll notice patterns and gain clarity, turning knee-jerk reactions into thoughtful choices. This practice isn't about becoming emotionless. Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress your feelings, but to understand them. When you feel anger, sadness, or fear, acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I'm feeling this and that's okay, but I don't have to act on it. This self-awareness is liberating. It frees you from being a puppet to your emotions or the whims of others. In a world where social media amplifies outrage and 24/7 news cycles fuel anxiety, this skill is more vital than ever. Imagine scrolling through X and seeing a post that sparks your anger, a political opinion or a snarky comment. Instead of typing a heated reply, you pause. You recognize the urge but choose to move on, preserving your mental energy for things that matter, like your goals or your loved ones. That's the Stoic way, not letting the noise of the world drown out your inner calm. Mastering your mind also has ripple effects. When you stay calm, you inspire others. Think about a team meeting where tensions are high and everyone's talking over each other. If you speak up with clarity and composure, people listen. Your calm becomes contagious, shifting the room's energy. Or consider parenting. When your kid throws a tantrum over a broken toy, your steady presence, kneeling down, listening, responding gently, teaches them resilience. These moments, small as they seem, shape your relationships and your legacy. They show that true power isn't in controlling others, but in controlling yourself. The beauty of Stoicism is its universality. Whether you're a CEO navigating boardroom drama, a student juggling exams, or a parent balancing work and home, the principle holds. You have power over your mind, not outside events. In a culture that glorifies hustle and instant gratification, Stoicism offers a counterpoint, a call to slow down, reflect, and choose wisely. It's a rebellion against chaos, a declaration that your peace is yours to protect. As you practice this, you'll find not just calmness but strength, the kind that carries you through life's storms with grace. But mastering your mind is only the beginning. The next lesson builds on this foundation, diving into how to handle one of the most powerful emotions we all face: anger. Let's explore how to keep it from derailing your peace and your purpose. You've taken the first step toward mastering your mind, recognizing that true power lies not in controlling the world but in controlling how you respond to it. But what happens when the world pushes back harder? When a cutting remark, a betrayal, or an unfair situation ignites a fire inside you? Emotions, especially negative ones like anger, can feel like wild horses, ready to bolt and drag you along. Yet, Stoicism offers a way to tame these forces, to harness them without letting them run the show. In this journey, we'll explore how to master your emotions, particularly in the face of criticism or negativity, and why anger, though natural, rarely solves problems. By pausing, breathing, and choosing wise responses, you can avoid the pitfalls of impulsivity and unlock a strength that radiates from within. Let's dive into these lessons, grounded in Stoic wisdom and enriched with practical tools for navigating the complexities of modern life in 2025. Picture yourself at a crowded coffee shop in downtown Seattle, the kind where the line snakes out the door and the baristas are moving at lightning speed. You've been waiting 15 minutes for your latte, already late for a meeting, when a stranger in line behind you mutters loudly, "Some people need to learn how to order faster." The comment stings, it's clearly aimed at you, and heads turn. Your pulse quickens, and a flush of irritation surges through you. Your first instinct is to spin around and snap. "Excuse me? I'm not the one holding up the line." But in that split second, Stoicism whispers a different approach. Instead of letting the stranger's words pull you into a confrontation, you pause. You take a deep breath, counting to 5 in your head, and let the tension in your shoulders ease. Then, with a calm smile, you say, "Yeah, it's a busy morning, isn't it?" and turn back to the counter. The stranger, expecting a fight, is left disarmed, and you walk away with your coffee and your peace intact. This is the art of mastering your emotions, not suppressing them, but choosing how they shape your actions. Stoicism doesn't ask you to become a robot devoid of feelings. Emotions are part of being human. They're the colors that paint our experiences. But left unchecked, they can cloud your judgment and lead to regret. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to wisdom, taught that we suffer not from events themselves but from our judgments about them. That stranger's comment in the coffee shop? It's just words, a fleeting moment. If you judge it as an attack, you'll feel attacked. If you see it as a reflection of their own frustration, it loses its power over you. This shift in perspective is what allows you to respond with clarity rather than react with heat. It's like standing on a beach watching a wave roll in. You can let it knock you over or step aside and let it pass. The choice is yours. This practice of pausing before reacting is more than a Stoic trick. It's a skill validated by science. Neuroscientists have found that when you're triggered, say, by a rude comment, your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, fires up, preparing you for fight or flight. But by taking just a few seconds to breathe deeply, you activate your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thinking. A 2023 study from Stanford University showed that participants who practiced a 5-second pause before responding to stressful situations reduced their cortisol levels by 20%, leading to calmer, more effective decisions. In other words, that moment of stillness isn't just philosophical, it's biological. It's your brain giving you a chance to choose strength over chaos. Let's apply this to a real-world scenario that many of us face: workplace criticism. Imagine you're in a team meeting presenting a project you've poured weeks into. You're halfway through your slides when a colleague interrupts. Honestly, this approach feels half-baked. Did you even consider the budget constraints? The room goes quiet, and all eyes are on you. Your stomach drops, and a mix of embarrassment and anger surges. The old you might have shot back. Half-baked? I've been working on this for weeks. But the stoic you knows better. You pause, take a slow sip of water, and let the emotions settle. You acknowledge the sting. Yes, it hurts to be called out, but you don't let it steer the ship. Instead, you respond, "That's a fair point. Let's dive into the budget details and see how we can refine this." By staying calm, you not only defuse the tension but also earn respect for your composure. Your colleague, expecting defensiveness, is thrown off balance, and the meeting shifts back to collaboration. This is the power of mastering your emotions. It turns potential conflicts into opportunities for growth. But why is this so hard? Why does negativity, like criticism, hit us so deeply? From a Stoic perspective, it's because we often tie our worth to external validation. If someone criticizes your work, it feels like they're criticizing you. Stoicism challenges this by reminding us that our value lies within our character, our choices, not someone else's opinion. Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey, who faced relentless criticism early in her career. In the 1980s, as a young talk show host, she was told she was too emotional and not fit for TV. Instead of letting those words define her, she paused, reflected, and chose to lean into her authenticity. That choice didn't just silence her critics. It built an empire. Oprah's journey shows that criticism, when met with calm reflection, can be a catalyst for growth rather than a roadblock. In 2025, when social media platforms like X amplify every opinion, this lesson is crucial. The next time you read a harsh comment online, try this. Read it, feel the initial sting, then ask, does this person's opinion change who I am? Spoiler, it doesn't. Let it go and keep moving forward. Now, let's shift gears to a specific emotion that often derails us. Anger. Anger is like a wildfire. It flares up fast, feels powerful, and can leave destruction in its wake. We've all been there. Maybe you're driving down the I-405 in Los Angeles, stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic, when a car swerves in front of you, cutting you off without a blinker. Your heart races, and a surge of rage pulses through you. You want to honk, tailgate, or shout something you'd regret if your kids were in the car. It feels like anger is the only way to reclaim control, to right the wrong. But Stoicism, through the words of Epictetus, reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That reckless driver? You can't control their actions, but you can control whether you let their mistake ruin your day, or worse, lead to a dangerous confrontation. Anger's allure is deceptive. In the moment, it feels productive, like you're taking charge. But step back and ask, does yelling at that driver fix anything? Does it make the road safer or get you to your destination faster? More often than not, anger escalates problems. A 2024 study from the American Psychological Association found that road rage incidents in the U.S. increased by 15% over the past decade, with 80% of drivers admitting to aggressive behavior when angry. The consequences: accidents, fines, or even violence. Stoicism offers a better way. When that driver cuts you off, pause. Take a deep breath and let your hands relax on the wheel. Remind yourself, their mistake doesn't define my mood. Maybe crank up your favorite song or focus on the podcast you're listening to. By choosing calm, you protect your peace and keep your eyes on what matters: getting home safely to your family. This principle applies beyond the road. Think about a time when someone's words lit a fuse inside you. Maybe it was a friend who betrayed your trust, saying something behind your back. You found out, and the anger was instant, urging you to confront them or cut them off. But Stoicism teaches us to see anger as a signal, not a strategy. It's telling you something's wrong: hurt, betrayal, injustice, but it's not the tool to fix it. Instead of storming into a fight, pause and reflect. Why does this hurt so much? Is it the betrayal itself or the fear of losing a friendship? By understanding the root, you can choose a response that aligns with your values. Maybe you have a calm conversation, setting boundaries without burning bridges. Or maybe you decide to let go, recognizing that their actions reflect their character, not yours. Either way, you've acted with intention, not impulse. Let's look at a historical example to drive this home. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years under South Africa's apartheid regime, had every reason to be consumed by anger. He faced brutality, isolation, and injustice on a scale most of us can't imagine. Yet, when he was released in 1990, Mandela chose reconciliation over revenge. He worked with his former oppressors to build a unified nation, earning global admiration and the Nobel Peace Prize. Mandela's approach wasn't about denying anger. It was about mastering it. He once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." In Stoic terms, he refused to let external circumstances, decades of suffering, dictate his inner state. For us, in 2025, Mandela's example is a beacon. When you're wronged at work, in relationships, or even by systemic inequities, anger is natural. But channeling it into constructive action, like advocating for change or setting healthy boundaries, is where true power lies. So, how do you tame anger in your daily life? Start with the Stoic pause we mentioned earlier. When anger flares, whether it's a coworker's snide remark or a family member pushing your buttons, count to 10. Use those seconds to breathe and ask, "Is this worth my peace?" If the answer's no, let it go. If it's yes, plan a thoughtful response. Another tool is visualization, a technique used by athletes and CEOs alike. Before a potentially heated situation like a tough performance review, picture yourself staying calm. Imagine your boss critiquing your work, and see yourself nodding, listening, responding with clarity. A 2022 study from Harvard Business Review found that visualization reduced emotional reactivity by 25% in high-stress scenarios. It's like mental rehearsal, priming your brain for composure. Another practical step is to reframe anger as curiosity. When someone upsets you, ask, why did they act this way? Maybe that coworker's snide remark came from their own insecurity or stress. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it shifts your focus from reaction to understanding, giving you space to respond wisely. In today's hyper-connected world, where misunderstandings on platforms like X can spark instant outrage, this curiosity is a game changer. Instead of firing off a reply to a provocative post, pause and consider the poster's perspective. Maybe they're misinformed or just venting. You can choose to engage constructively or scroll on, preserving your mental energy. Mastering your emotions and taming anger also has broader benefits. When you stay calm, you model resilience for others. Think of a parent calming a toddler's meltdown with a gentle tone or a leader steering a team through a crisis with steady confidence. Your composure doesn't just protect you, it uplifts those around you. In a culture that often rewards loudness, think reality TV or viral X rants, choosing calm is a quiet rebellion. It says, I'm in charge of my mind, not the chaos around me. And in 2025, with economic pressures, political divides, and digital noise at an all-time high, this skill is your superpower. But the Stoic journey doesn't end here. Mastering emotions and anger sets the stage for a deeper truth. That true strength lies not in outbursts but in the quiet power of self-control. The next lessons will explore why calmness is your greatest asset and how to embrace life's unfairness without losing your center. Let's keep moving forward. You've learned to master your mind, tame your emotions, and keep anger from clouding your judgment. But what happens when the stakes feel higher, when chaos erupts around you, or life deals you a hand that seems blatantly unfair? In these moments, Stoicism shines brightest, revealing two profound truths. Calmness is not weakness but a towering strength, and life's injustices, while inevitable, don't have to define you. Picture yourself standing firm in a storm, unshaken by the winds of conflict or the weight of unfairness. This is the Stoic way, finding power in self-control and resilience in acceptance. Through the lens of Stoic philosophy, enriched with modern examples and practical tools, we'll explore how to embody calmness as your greatest asset and embrace life's inequities without losing your center. Let's dive into these lessons, crafted to empower you in the unpredictable landscape of 2025. Imagine you're in a high-stakes meeting at your tech startup in Silicon Valley. The room is buzzing with tension as your team debates a critical product launch. Deadlines are looming, and budgets are tight. Suddenly, a senior colleague raises their voice, slamming your proposed strategy. "This plan is a disaster. It's going to tank our quarter." The air grows heavy, and all eyes turn to you. Your heart races, and the instinct to fire back surges, maybe to defend your work or match their intensity. But then you remember the Stoic principle. True strength lies not in shouting louder but in staying calm. You take a slow breath, letting the sting of the critique settle. Instead of retaliating, you nod and respond evenly. "I hear your concerns. Let's break down the risks and explore solutions together." The room exhales. Your composure shifts the energy from conflict to collaboration, and soon the team is brainstorming constructively. In that moment, you've done more than save face. You've demonstrated a power that outshines any outburst, the power of self-control. Society often misreads calmness as passivity, equating strength with loudness or aggression. Think of the stereotypes we see in American culture, on reality TV shows or heated debates, where the person who yells the loudest or throws the sharpest jab is crowned the winner. But Stoicism flips this script. It teaches that the person who remains steady amid chaos is the true master of the moment. This isn't about suppressing your voice or avoiding conflict. It's about choosing when and how to engage. When you stay calm, you're not surrendering, you're strategizing. You're refusing to let external pressures hijack your clarity. This self-mastery is what makes calmness a strength, not a weakness. It's the difference between a ship tossed by waves and one anchored firmly in the harbor. To see this in action, let's travel back to 1930, to the salt flats of India, where Mahatma Gandhi led a quiet revolution. Facing the oppressive British Empire, which imposed a harsh tax on salt, a staple for millions, Gandhi chose a radical response: nonviolence. He led a 240-mile march to the sea, unarmed, with thousands following, to make salt in defiance of the law. The British expected resistance they could crush with force, but Gandhi's calm persistence disarmed them. When colonial forces attacked, his followers stood firm, refusing to retaliate. This weak act of silence shook the empire's foundation, drawing global support and advancing India's path to independence. Gandhi's approach, rooted in principles akin to Stoicism, showed that calmness isn't just personal strength. It's a force that can change history. His philosophy of ahimsa, nonviolence, and satyagraha, truthful resistance, mirrors the Stoic call to control what's within your power. Your response, your dignity, your purpose. Fast forward to 2025, and this lesson feels more relevant than ever. In a world of instant reactions, where a single X post can spark a firestorm of outrage, calmness is a superpower. Imagine you're scrolling through your feed and see a colleague's post criticizing your industry's practices. Feels personal, and the urge to clap back is strong. But a Stoic pause changes the game. You close the app, take a walk around the block, and ask, does reacting here serve my goals? Often the answer is no. By staying silent or responding thoughtfully, you preserve your energy and maintain your integrity. This isn't about avoiding conflict, but about choosing battles wisely. In professional settings, too, calmness commands respect. A 2024 Harvard Business Review study found that leaders who maintained composure during crises were rated 40% higher in trust and effectiveness by their teams. Your calm doesn't just protect you. It inspires others to rise above the noise. But how do you cultivate this strength in daily life? One powerful practice is what psychologists call emotional labeling. When tension rises, say, during a family argument over holiday plans, pause and name what you're feeling. I'm frustrated because I feel unheard. This simple act, backed by a 2023 UCLA study, reduces emotional intensity by 25%, giving you space to respond rather than react. Another tool is visualization, used by athletes like Serena Williams. Before a tough conversation, picture yourself staying calm, speaking clearly, and walking away proud. This mental rehearsal primes your brain for success. Finally, lean on Stoic reflection. Each evening, spend 5 minutes journaling about a moment when you stayed calm, or didn't. What triggered you? How could you handle it better? Over time, These small practices build a reservoir of inner strength, ready for life's bigger storms. This strength becomes even more vital when life feels unfair, a reality Stoicism confronts head-on. Life isn't a meritocracy where hard work always pays off or kindness is always returned. You might pour your heart into a project, only to see a less dedicated colleague get the promotion. Or you might treat a friend with loyalty, only to hear they've gossiped about you. These moments sting, and it's tempting to spiral into resentment, asking, "Why me?" But Stoicism offers a liberating truth. You can't control life's inequities, but you can control how you respond. Instead of letting unfairness define you, see it as a neutral fact, like rain on a hike. You can't stop the rain, but you can choose to keep walking, maybe even enjoy the challenge. This mindset shifts you from victim to victor, freeing you to focus on what's in your power. Your actions, your growth, your peace. 2588 peace. A shining example of this is Nick Vujicic, born without arms or legs due to tetraamelia syndrome. Growing up in Australia, Nick faced a world that seemed stacked against him. As a child, he battled despair, even contemplating suicide. But at a turning point, he embraced a Stoic-like realization. He couldn't change his body, but he could change his mindset. Through sheer determination, Nick learned to write, swim, and even surf, defying expectations. Today, he's a global speaker, inspiring millions with his message of resilience. His story isn't about denying pain, but about refusing to let circumstances dictate his worth. In 2025, when social media often amplifies comparison and envy, Nick's example reminds us to focus on our own path, not others' highlight reels. In the US, unfairness is a daily reality for many. Systemic inequities, whether racial, economic, or otherwise, can feel like immovable barriers. Stoicism doesn't dismiss these. It empowers you to navigate them with agency. Take the story of Ruby Bridges, who at 6 years old integrated an all-white school in 1960 New Orleans, facing hateful crowds daily. Her calm resolve, guided by her faith and family, turned her into a civil rights icon. Ruby didn't change the hatred around her, but she changed how she faced it, proving that inner strength can outlast external injustice. In today's polarized climate, where debates on X or workplace biases can feel overwhelming, this mindset is a lifeline. You may not fix the system overnight, but you can choose to show up, learn, and persist. So, how do you apply this in 2025? Start with acceptance, not resignation. When unfairness strikes, maybe a coworker takes credit for your idea. Acknowledge the sting, but don't dwell. Ask, what can I control? Maybe it's sharpening your skills or documenting your contributions. A 2024 study from the American Psychological Association found that proactive coping strategies, like problem-solving and self-reflection, boost resilience by 30%. Another practice is gratitude, which Stoics like Marcus Aurelius used. Each day, list 3 things you're thankful for, even amid unfairness. This rewires your brain to see possibility over lack. Finally, seek community. Share your struggles with trusted friends or mentors, as Ruby did with her teacher. Connection turns isolation into strength. These lessons, calmness as strength and embracing unfairness, aren't just survival tactics. They're a blueprint for thriving. In a world of layoffs, political noise, and digital overload, they anchor you. Imagine facing a sudden job loss not with panic, but with a steady plan. Updating your resume, networking, and trusting your worth. That's Stoicism in action. As you build these habits, you become a beacon, showing others that peace is possible, even in chaos. But the Stoic path doesn't stop here. The next lessons will explore how every loss of control is a choice and how living in the present can unlock a deeper calm. Let's keep forging ahead, crafting a life of purpose and resilience. You've built a foundation of Stoic wisdom, mastering your mind, taming emotions, and finding strength in calmness while embracing life's unfairness. But what happens when the pressure mounts, and it feels like the world is conspiring to push you off balance? Maybe it's a heated argument, a sudden setback, or the nagging weight of past regrets and future fears. In these moments, Stoicism offers 2 transformative insights. Losing control is not inevitable. It's a choice, and true peace comes from anchoring yourself in the present moment. Imagine standing steady in the eye of a storm, choosing calm over chaos and living fully in the now. These principles, rooted in the teachings of philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, are not just ancient ideals but practical tools for thriving in the fast-paced, unpredictable world of 2025. Let's dive into how you can choose control over your reactions and embrace the present to find unshakable resilience, with real-world examples and actionable steps to guide you. Picture yourself in a crowded grocery store in Chicago, the kind where carts clog the aisles and the checkout lines stretch forever. You're juggling a full basket, already running late for dinner, when someone cuts in front of you at the register, tossing their items onto the conveyor belt without a glance. Your blood boils, your fists clench, and a sharp retort forms on your tongue. "Hey, I was here first." It feels like the only way to reclaim your dignity. But in that split second, Stoicism offers a powerful reminder. No one can make you lose control unless you let them. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who endured slavery yet found freedom in his mind, said, "It is not enough to be hit or insulted to be harmed. You must believe that you are being harmed." This truth cuts through the heat of the moment. That line cutter didn't steal your calm. You'd be giving it away if you lash out. Instead, you pause, take a deep breath, and let the tension drain from your shoulders. You choose to say nothing, or maybe you calmly ask, "Mind if I go ahead? I was next." Either way, you walk away with your peace intact, proving that losing control is a choice, and calmness is the stronger path. This idea that your reactions are yours to choose challenges the common belief that emotions are automatic. We often think, "They made me angry," or "This situation stressed me out," as if we're puppets of circumstance. But Stoicism flips this narrative. Your emotions don't control you, your judgments do. When that person cut you off in line, your anger came from interpreting their action as disrespectful. If you reframe it as a moment of their distraction or haste, the anger fades. This isn't about excusing rudeness, but about reclaiming your power. By choosing how you interpret and respond, you become the master of your inner world. Modern neuroscience backs this up. A 2024 study from the University of California, Berkeley, found that cognitive reappraisal, reframing how you view a situation, reduces emotional reactivity by up to 35% in stressful encounters. That pause before reacting isn't just philosophical. It's a brain hack, giving you the upper hand over your impulses. Let's bring this to a more personal scenario. Imagine you're at a family dinner, and your sibling makes a jab about your career. Still grinding at that startup? When are you going to get a real job? The table goes quiet, and a wave of hurt and anger surges. Your instinct is to fire back, maybe point out their own stalled ambitions. But Stoicism invites you to pause and reflect. Is this worth my peace? You take a sip of water, count to 5, and choose a different response. "I'm happy with where I'm at," you say with a smile, then shift the conversation to the mashed potatoes. In that moment, you've done something profound. You've chosen not to let their words pull you into a spiral of resentment. This doesn't mean you ignore the jab or pretend it didn't hurt. It means you acknowledge the feeling but refuse to let it dictate your actions. That's the Stoic choice. To stay in control not of others, but of yourself. This principle shines in high-stakes moments, too. Consider the story of Malala Yousafzai, the Pakistani activist who survived a Taliban assassination attempt at 15 for advocating girls' education. After recovering, Malala faced a choice. Let anger and fear define her or choose a path of calm resolve. She chose the latter, speaking out with clarity and courage, earning a Nobel Peace Prize by 2014. Her response wasn't driven by impulse, but by a deliberate decision to focus on her mission, not her pain. In 2025, when online vitriol on platforms like X can feel like a daily assault, Malala's example is a beacon. The next time you face a hurtful comment, online or in person, pause and ask, will reacting in anger change this? Often the answer is no. By choosing silence or a measured response, you protect your energy and stay true to your values. So how do you make this choice in everyday life? One tool is the Stoic pause, a 5-second break to breathe and assess. When irritation flares, say, when a coworker ignores your email, count to 10 and ask, is this worth my frustration? If not, let it go. If it is, plan a calm, professional follow-up. Another practice is self-talk used by leaders like Michelle Obama. In her memoir, she describes mentally coaching herself through tense moments, saying, "This doesn't define me. Try it." When you feel control slipping, silently repeat, "I choose my response." A 2023 study from the American Psychological Association found that positive self-talk reduces stress by 20% in high-pressure situations. Finally, practice in low-stakes moments. When a barista messes up your coffee order, use it as a chance to stay calm. Smile, ask politely for a fix, and move on. These small victories build the muscle for bigger challenges, like navigating a career setback or a personal betrayal. But choosing control is only half the battle. To truly anchor your calm, you must learn to live in the present, free from the chains of past regrets and future anxieties. Have you ever caught yourself replaying a mistake, like a fumbled presentation, or worrying about what's next, like an upcoming job interview? This mental tug-of-war steals your peace, trapping you in moments you can't change or predict. Stoicism, through Marcus Aurelius, offers a remedy. Man lives only in the present. In this fleeting instant, all the rest of his life is either past and gone or not yet revealed. The present is your only domain of power. The past is done, the future uncertain. By rooting yourself in the now, you reclaim the ability to act, grow, and find joy. This focus on the present is embodied by tennis legend Novak Djokovic, who transformed his career by embracing mindfulness. Early in his career, Djokovic admitted to being haunted by losses and distracted by future matches. But by training himself to focus on each point, each swing, each breath, he unlocked a new level of performance. In the 2024 Wimbledon finals, trailing by a set, he stayed laser-focused on the moment, rallying to win his 25th Grand Slam. Djokovic's shift wasn't about ignoring the score, but about refusing to let past points or future outcomes cloud his clarity. For you, in 2025, this could mean tackling a work project one task at a time, undistracted by a recent critique or looming deadline. By staying present, you maximize your effectiveness and minimize stress. Mindfulness, a Stoic practice for centuries, is your key to living in the now. It doesn't require hours of meditation or a retreat to a mountaintop. It's about noticing the moment, your breath, the weight of your feet on the ground, the hum of life around you. A 2024 Stanford study found that just 5 minutes of daily mindfulness practice, focusing on your senses, reduces anxiety by 15%. Try this. When you're overwhelmed, pause for 60 seconds. Feel the air on your skin, listen to the sounds around you, and let your mind settle. If you're stuck in traffic on I-95, instead of fuming about being late, notice the rhythm of your breath or the colors of the cars ahead. This anchors you, turning a frustrating wait into a moment of clarity. In modern America, where hustle culture and digital noise pull us in every direction, living in the present is a radical act. Social media platforms like X bombard us with reminders of other successes, fueling regret. Why didn't I start that business? Or fear, will I ever measure up? Stoicism cuts through this. When you catch yourself spiraling, gently bring your focus back to now. Maybe you're sipping coffee at a cafe. Savor the warmth, the aroma, the chatter around you. Or you're prepping for a big meeting. Focus on your notes, not the what-ifs. This presence doesn't erase challenges, but gives you the clarity to face them. As a parent, it means listening fully to your child's story, not checking your phone. As a professional, it means tackling one email at a time, not dreading the inbox. Let's look at a modern example. Alicia Keys, the Grammy-winning artist. In her 2020 book, More Myself, Keys describes how she once obsessed over past criticisms and future expectations, draining her creativity. By embracing mindfulness, journaling daily and focusing on the present, she rediscovered her voice, producing some of her most authentic work. In 2025, when burnout is a top concern, a 2024 Gallup poll found 60% of U.S. workers feel emotionally detached at work, Key's story is a call to action. You can't undo last year's missed promotion or predict next year's economy, but you can excel in today's tasks, connect with today's colleagues, and find joy in today's moments. To make this practical, try a Stoic exercise called Amor Fati, Love of Fate. Each morning, tell yourself, I'll embrace whatever today brings. When a challenge arises, a delayed flight, a tough conversation, see it as a chance to practice resilience. Another tool is the 1-minute reset. When you're ruminating, set a timer for 60 seconds and focus solely on your breath. This micro-practice, used by tech leaders like Satya Nadella, grounds you in the now. Finally, limit digital distractions. A 2025 Pew Research study found that Americans spend an average of 8 hours daily on screens, often fueling anxiety. Set boundaries like no X-scrolling during meals to reclaim present moment awareness. Choosing control and living in the present aren't just personal wins. They ripple outward. Your calm presence in a tense meeting inspires your team. Your focus on the now deepens your relationships. In a world of chaos, you become a beacon of stability. But Stoicism has more to offer. The next lessons will explore how to find calm amidst life's unpredictability and redefine yourself beyond circumstances. Let's keep building this resilient, purposeful life. You've journeyed through the heart of Stoic wisdom, mastering your mind, taming emotions, finding strength in calmness, embracing life's unfairness, choosing control, and living fully in the present. But life has a way of testing us, doesn't it? One moment, you're coasting along, plans in place, confidence high. The next, chaos erupts. An unexpected crisis, a betrayal, or a setback that shakes your core. In these turbulent times, Stoicism offers two final, powerful lessons. Your calm is always within your reach, no matter how wild the storm, and your circumstances don't define you. Only your response does. Imagine yourself as an unshakable lighthouse, standing firm against crashing waves, guiding your own path. These principles, drawn from the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, are not just philosophical ideals but practical lifelines for navigating the complexities of 2025. Let's explore how to cultivate inner calm and redefine yourself beyond your circumstances, with real-world examples and actionable tools to shape a life of resilience and purpose. Picture yourself rushing through a busy morning in Miami, juggling a coffee in one hand and your phone in the other, racing to catch a 7 a.m. meeting. You're 2 blocks from the office when a text pops up from your boss. Meeting's canceled. We need to talk. My office now. Your stomach drops. The vague urgency screams trouble. Maybe a project's gone south or your job's on the line. Your mind races, conjuring worst-case scenarios, and a wave of panic threatens to take over. It's in this moment that Stoicism whispers a truth. No matter how chaotic life gets, your calm is yours to claim. You pause on the sidewalk, take a deep breath, and feel the warm Florida air on your skin. You remind yourself, I can't control what's coming, but I can control how I walk into that room. Instead of spiraling, you choose silence for a moment, letting the panic settle. Then, you stride into the office, head high, ready to face whatever's next with clarity. This is the Stoic secret. Your inner peace is a fortress, always within your grasp, if you choose to build it. Life's unpredictability is a universal truth. One day, you're celebrating a promotion. The next, you're hit with a medical scare or a family crisis. Stoicism doesn't promise to stop these storms. It teaches you to be the steady center within them. Epictetus once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This isn't about ignoring reality, but about recognizing that your response is your greatest asset. When that text from your boss lands, the chaos is external, the canceled meeting, the ominous tone. But your calm is internal, a choice to pause, breathe, and act with intention. This pause, what Stoics call the space between stimulus and response, is where your power lies. It's not passivity or avoidance. It's a deliberate act of self-mastery, a refusal to let the world's noise drown out your inner quiet. Modern science supports this. A 2024 study from the University of Pennsylvania found that brief pauses, 10 seconds of deep breathing, reduce stress hormones by 20% in high-pressure situations. This aligns with Stoic practice. When life throws a curveball, pause before reacting. Imagine you're at a heated town hall in your community, debating a local policy. Someone shouts over you, dismissing your point with a personal jab. You clearly don't get how this affects real families. The crowd murmurs, and your pulse spikes. The old you might snap back, escalating the argument. But the Stoic you pauses, counts to 5, and feels the chair beneath you. Instead of firing back, you respond calmly, "I hear your passion. Can we focus on the policy details?" Your silence in that heated moment isn't weakness. It's a weapon. It disarms the aggressor, earns the room's respect, and keeps your dignity intact. This is the power of inner calm. It's not just personal peace, but a force that shapes the world around you. Let's look at a historical figure who embodied this, Rosa Parks, whose quiet resolve sparked the Montgomery bus boycott in 1955. When ordered to give up her seat on a segregated bus, Parks faced a storm of injustice, racial oppression, public scrutiny, and personal risk. Yet, she sat still, calm, and resolute, saying simply, no. Her silence wasn't surrender. It was a thunderous act of defiance, rooted in inner strength. That single moment ignited a movement, proving that calm can move mountains. In 2025, when social media platforms like X amplify every conflict, Parks' example is a call to action. When you face online trolls or workplace drama, choose the pause. A measured response or no response often speaks louder than a shouting match. Your calm becomes a beacon, showing others that peace is possible, even in turmoil. But cultivating this calm takes practice, especially in a world designed to distract. Start with the Stoic pause, a habit you can weave into daily life. When a coworker sends a snarky email, don't hit reply right away. Take 10 seconds to breathe and ask, what's my goal here? Maybe it's a professional clarification, not a personal jab. Another tool is mindfulness anchoring, used by leaders like Ariana Huffington. In tense moments, focus on a physical sensation, the weight of your feet, the rhythm of your breath. A 2025 study from Johns Hopkins found that 60 seconds of sensory focus cuts anxiety by 15%. Try it when you're stuck in traffic on the I-95, fuming over a 30-minute delay. Notice the steering wheel's texture or the hum of the radio. This grounds you, turning chaos into a moment of control. Finally, practice selective silence. When a family argument flares, say, over who's hosting Thanksgiving, choose to listen rather than rebut. Your silence doesn't mean agreement. It means you're steering the conversation with intention, preserving harmony over ego. This inner calm sets the stage for the final Stoic lesson. Your circumstances don't define you, only your response does. Life is a mosaic of moments, some radiant, others brutal. You might grow up in poverty, face discrimination, or endure a loss that feels insurmountable. These realities are real and they hurt, but Stoicism insists that they are not your identity. Epictetus, born a slave yet rising to philosophical greatness, taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Your circumstances are the stage. Your response is the performance. You can't choose the script, but you can choose how to play your role with courage, dignity, and purpose. Consider a boy born into poverty in rural Alabama, surrounded by whispers of limitation. You'll never get out of here. His family scrapes by, living in a cramped trailer with no running water some days. School is a 5-mile walk, and college feels like a fantasy. Society labels him disadvantaged, as if his fate is sealed. At first, he believes it, internalizing the idea that poverty is his destiny. But one day, a teacher hands him a worn copy of the autobiography of Malcolm X, and a spark ignites. He realizes his circumstances are a starting point, not a sentence. He chooses to study late into the night, apply for scholarships, and work odd jobs. Years later, he's a community leader, mentoring kids who walk the same dirt roads he did. His story isn't a miracle. It's a Stoic triumph, a choice to define himself through action, not circumstance. This principle resonates deeply in 2025, where systemic challenges, economic inequality, racial bias, mental health stigma persist. Stoicism doesn't deny these. It empowers you to navigate them. Take the example of Bryan Stevenson, the American lawyer and founder of the Equal Justice Initiative. Growing up Black in segregated Delaware, Stevenson faced a world that tried to limit him. Yet, he chose to respond with education and advocacy, fighting for wrongfully convicted prisoners. His 2014 book, Just Mercy, and its 2019 film adaptation brought his work to millions, showing that circumstances don't dictate impact. For you, this might mean facing a biased workplace with skill building and allyship, or overcoming financial strain by budgeting and seeking mentorship. You can't erase the challenge, but you can write your own story. In everyday life, this mindset transforms setbacks into stepping stones. Imagine you're passed over for a promotion you deserved. The sting is real. Maybe you worked 60-hour weeks only to see a less qualified colleague climb the ladder. Resentment beckons, whispering, "This isn't fair." But Stoicism redirects you. What can I control? You choose to refine your skills, network strategically, or even explore new opportunities. A 2024 Gallup study found that proactive career planning boosts job satisfaction by 25%, even after setbacks. Another example, you're ghosted by a friend after sharing a vulnerable moment. Instead of defining yourself as unworthy, you choose to nurture other relationships and practice self-compassion. These choices, small, deliberate acts, shape who you become. How do you apply this in 2025? Start with radical acceptance, a Stoic and psychological practice. When adversity hits, a layoff, a health scare, acknowledge it without judgment. This is my reality, but it's not my identity. A 2023 study from the American Psychological Association found that acceptance reduces emotional distress by 30%. Next, focus on action. Break challenges into controllable steps. If you're struggling financially, create a budget, cut one expense, or take a free online course to boost your skills. Finally, reframe adversity as growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." When you're rejected for a job, see it as a chance to refine your resume or explore a new field. This isn't blind optimism. It's strategic resilience. In a world of noise, 24/7 news, ex-feuds, economic uncertainty, these Stoic lessons are your anchor. Inner calm lets you face chaos with clarity, while defining yourself through response frees you from circumstances' grip. Imagine navigating a family crisis not with panic but with steady presence, or turning a career setback into a pivot toward passion. Your calm and choices become your legacy, inspiring others to find their own strength. As you weave these practices into daily life, you're not just surviving, you're sculpting a life of meaning. But Stoicism's wisdom is a lifelong journey. The next step is to weave these lessons into a cohesive practice, reflecting on how to sustain calm and purpose in every moment. Let's explore how to make this philosophy your daily guide, shaping a resilient, intentional life. As we stand at the end of this journey through Stoic wisdom, let's pause and reflect on the path we've traveled together. From mastering your mind to taming emotions, from finding strength in calmness to embracing life's unfairness, from choosing control to living in the present, and from anchoring your calm to defining yourself beyond circumstances, we've uncovered a blueprint for resilience and purpose. These 9 lessons, drawn from the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca, are not just abstract ideals but practical tools for navigating the chaos of modern life. In 2025, a year marked by digital noise, economic uncertainty, and relentless pressure, Stoicism offers a lighthouse, a way to stand firm, clear-headed, and true to yourself no matter what storms rage around you. Let's weave these lessons into a final tapestry, offering actionable advice for today's world, and end with a call to action to join the ZENLIGHT 8 community and share your insights, especially on the power of living in the present. Imagine yourself a year from now, looking back on 2025. What do you see? A life shaped by reactive outbursts and scattered focus, or one defined by calm choices and intentional presence? Stoicism hands you the tools to choose the latter. It begins with the core truth we started with: you have power over your mind, not outside events. When a coworker's critique stings or a missed deadline looms, you pause, breathe, and reframe the moment as a chance to grow. This mastery of mind flows into your emotions, where you learn to see anger as a signal, not a strategy. Instead of honking in rage when cut off on the I-95, you choose a deep breath and a favorite song, preserving your peace. This self-control reveals calmness as your greatest strength, not a sign of weakness. Like Gandhi's nonviolent march or Rosa Parks' quiet defiance, your calm becomes a force, shifting arguments into dialogues and chaos into clarity. But Stoicism doesn't stop at personal peace. It confronts life's deeper realities. When unfairness strikes, a promotion lost to politics or a betrayal by a friend, you accept it as part of the human condition, not a verdict on your worth. Like Nick Vujicic, who turned physical limitations into a global mission, you choose to respond with action, not resentment. This choice is yours every day, because losing control is never inevitable. When someone cuts you off in line or a harsh ex-post sparks outrage, you pause and decide, will I let this define my mood? By choosing calm, you reclaim your power. And by rooting yourself in the present, as Novak Djokovic does on the tennis court, you free yourself from the chains of past regrets and future fears. Each moment, whether sipping coffee or tackling a work project, becomes a chance to live fully, with focus and joy. These lessons converge in a profound truth. Your calm is always within reach, and your circumstances don't define you. In a world that tries to label you by your job, your mistakes, or your struggles, you write your own story through your responses. Like the boy from rural Alabama who rose from poverty to leadership, or Brian Stevenson who fought injustice with unwavering resolve, you choose to act, learn, and persist. This is the Stoic triumph. A life not dictated by chaos but shaped by intention, where every challenge is a chance to sculpt your character and purpose. So, how do you bring this wisdom into your life in 2025? A year of rapid change and relentless demands. Start with small, deliberate practices that build Stoic resilience. First, embrace the Stoic pause. When stress hits, maybe a heated family dinner or a looming work deadline, count to 10, breathe deeply, and ask, is this worth my peace? This simple act, backed by a 2024 University of Pennsylvania study showing a 20% drop in stress hormones, grounds you in control. Practice it daily, whether you're stuck in a 30-minute traffic jam or facing a snarky comment online. Over time, these pauses become second nature, turning impulsive reactions into thoughtful choices. Next, anchor yourself in the present through mindfulness. You don't need a meditation retreat, just 60 seconds a day. When anxiety creeps in, maybe while scrolling X and seeing others' curated lives, pause and notice your surroundings. The warmth of your coffee mug, the hum of your office, the rhythm of your breath. A 2025 Stanford study found that this micro-practice cuts anxiety by 15%, freeing you to focus on what's real. Try it during mundane moments, washing dishes, walking to the mailbox, to train your mind for bigger challenges, like staying calm in a performance review or listening fully to a loved one. Another powerful tool is journaling, a habit Marcus Aurelius used to clarify his thoughts. Each night, spend 5 minutes reflecting on your day. Write down a moment when you stayed calm, like when you didn't snap at a rude cashier, or one where you lost control, like raising your voice in an argument. Ask, what triggered me? How can I respond better? This reflection, supported by a 2023 American Psychological Association study showing a 25% boost in emotional resilience, builds self-awareness. It's like a mental gym, strengthening your ability to choose calm over chaos. In 2025, when digital overload is a daily battle, a Pew Research study notes Americans average 8 hours of screen time daily. Set boundaries to protect your calm. Try a no-X zone during meals or the first hour of your morning. This preserves your focus for what matters: your goals, your relationships, your growth. When unfairness hits, like a biased workplace or financial strain, practice radical acceptance. Acknowledge the reality, this is tough. Then focus on what you control: upskilling, budgeting, or seeking support. A 2024 Gallup study found that proactive coping boosts job satisfaction by 25%, even in tough times. And don't go it alone. Connect with a mentor, friend, or community, as Ruby Bridges did with her teacher. Sharing your struggles, as Stevenson did through advocacy, turns isolation into strength. These practices aren't just for surviving 2025, they're for thriving. Imagine facing a sudden layoff not with panic but with a plan. Updating your LinkedIn, networking, and trusting your worth. Picture resolving a family conflict not with shouting but with listening, building bridges instead of walls. Your calm ripples outward, inspiring colleagues, friends, even strangers. In a culture that glorifies hustle and outrage, Stoicism is your rebellion, a declaration that your peace, your purpose, is yours to shape. Whether you're a student juggling exams, a parent balancing work and home, or a leader navigating corporate chaos, these tools empower you to live intentionally, not reactively. Now it's time to take action. If these lessons have sparked something in you, a desire to live with more calm, clarity, and courage, join the ZENLIGHT 8 community on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next dive into life-changing wisdom. Share this video with someone who needs a lift, a friend stressed at work, a sibling facing tough times. Your share could be the nudge they need to find their own strength. And here's a challenge. Head to the comments and tell us how you're applying Lesson 7, living in the present. Maybe you savored a quiet coffee break or stayed focused during a hectic day. How did it feel to anchor yourself in the now? Your story could inspire someone else in the ZENLIGHT 8 family. Let's build a community of growth, one mindful moment at a time. As you step back into the world, carry the Stoic truth. You are not your circumstances, your emotions, or the chaos around you. You are your choices, your pauses, your presence, your persistence. In 2025, let these choices define you. When the storms come, stand firm, calm, and true. Your life is your canvas, and Stoicism is your brush. Paint boldly, live fully, and let your calm be your legacy. We'll see you in the next video, ready to explore more ways to master your mind and shape your destiny with ZENLIGHT 8.